right, Lead Heads, welcome back to another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 269. All right, enough with the jokes on the 69. Come on. But we do have a milestone coming up. We've got 270 is going to be our next episode, and that also being the Winchester 270, which is gun-related, which fits in great with a podcast called Talking Lead, wouldn't you say, Jeremiah?
Absolutely, man. What an awesome round it is, too.
It is. I love the 270. I've got a 270 bolt that I use to do a little deer hunting from time to time. It was my father's, and I got that when he passed away. And I'm looking for some good optics to put on it. Maybe.
I could help you out.
So what a coincidence that we have J-Mack with Riton USA, Riton Optics. That's R-I-T-O-N. And this is going to be, is it our fifth Optics 101 class or fourth?
I think it's the fifth, but I've only been on, this will be my third. You did two, like one with Charlie and Brady, and then one with Brady, and then me. This will be our third together, I believe.
Okay. So in our string of Optics 101 classes, J-Mack is going to be here for what we think is the fifth. But there'll be
it's the sixth or the ninth. I don't know. It's 69th.
Yeah, it's the next in a continuing line of Optics 101 classes that we're going to be presenting here on Talking Lead.
Yes.
But that being said, episode 269, that's where we're at right now. Make sure you guys go back to last episode, which was episode 268, and that is where we had Michelle Sereno, and Michelle was talking about all kinds of stuff. I mean, Michelle is a very interesting lady. She's got a lot of knowledge in the firearms industry. She owns a training company. She is editor for a magazine. She does contributing columnist to several magazines, Gun World Magazine, NRA Shooting Sports USA. She's a columnist at Women's Outdoor News, and she runs the website and Facebook page Princess Gunslinger. She's a competition shooter, hunter, and just all around awesome lady. So make sure you guys go back to episode 268. Shooting Stances and Cracked Ray-Bans is the name of that episode. So one of the posts that I did, Jeremiah, I wore a pair of Ray-Bans to the range one day.
Okay.
It was just because I couldn't find I usually have like 5 or 6 pairs of shooting glasses just laying around in the truck. I guess it was one of those days that I cleaned my truck out and I didn't put them back in. But anyway, I wore those and I got a couple of shells that hit the lens. It just cracked like a thin piece of ice. So her whole thing was, Ray-Bans aren't protective eyewear; they're fashion.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, I don't think Ray-Ban makes a actually safety pair of glasses.
They need to, because that's my go-to sunglasses, and for being honest, I have shot many around with my Ray-Ban sunglasses on.
Yeah, well, you're lucky that you've not cracked them.
Yes, sir.
So you guys go back to that episode, listen to the great interview that we had with Michelle Sereno, and people who wear the Ray-Bans, why they shouldn't do that. Got to protect those eyes, man. And I more than anybody can appreciate that because I just had both my eyes operated on in the past 6 months. So I got a cataract removed and I got an astigmatism corrected. So I'm seeing great right now, and I can really appreciate awesome optics like Riton USA has. And I mean, it's a world of difference, Jeremiah, from because you guys were on board. You guys have been on board with Talking Lead for a couple of years now. And, I mean, it's a world of difference in what I thought they were really good at the time to what they really are now that I can actually see how clear and how crisp these optics really are. So, I mean, if I was impressed with them when I had a Cadillac in my eye, so these past couple of months have just been really a revelation to me. I can't say enough good things about Riton Optics. So you guys make sure you go to ritonusa.com, the official optics of Talking Lead, And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. J-Mack's got lots of information for you guys on tips and tricks on picking out the right optics for your
right optic for your, for your needs or application.
For you, how you want to utilize your rifle, your gun. But before we do that, Jeremiah, I hear the Jackwagon Train rolling in.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, gunny.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, so the train has stationed, and I like to defer to my guest, but I think he probably wants me to stall. Yep. We're going to go to the Talking Lead Head submitted Jackwagons, and our first one comes from Austin Whalen. So, hey, Austin, appreciate you sending this in. Austin says, howdy, Lefty. My Jackwagon nominee is the Kleenex Company. Kleenex Company, you may say. What have they done? And I hadn't heard about this, so I appreciate him sending this in. So here's a link to it. It said they conceded into changing their man-sized box, all because some people thought it was sexist. He says, Austin says, I have man-sized boogers and need man-sized tissues.
I've been saying they need man-sized Capri Suns for a long time.
Right? I haven't
seen that one come to fruition.
Exactly. They need to come in the Capri Suns need to come by the gallon. I never understood that one.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
That never made any sense. So let's read this, what Kleenex has done here. So it says, Kleenex to rebrand man-size, in quotes, tissues after gender complaints. Oh, my God. I'm so sick of these gender complaints. Let's see. Kleenex will rebrand its man-sized tissues after consumers complained the name was sexist. Touching off a social media conversation about what's in a name. The company behind Kleenex, Kimberly-Clark, said Thursday that the product, which is sold only in the UK, will now be called Kleenex Extra Large. Packages for the tissues describe them as confidently strong and comfortably soft. Kimberly-Clark told Britain's Daily Telegraph, I mean, only in the UK, man. But I would have thought this would be the United States, too. I guess it never passed here. They probably never got it through their
It never would
initial.
even made it to the
Yeah, it's
to the
so
market.
bad here. That in no way suggests that being both soft and strong was an exclusively masculine trait. Nor do we believe that the man-size branding suggests or endorses gender inequality. Well, no, it doesn't. We are always grateful to customers who take time to tell us how products can be improved, and we carefully consider all suggestions, the company said in a statement. I bet you don't. Let's see. It goes on, blah, 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 blah. It says, in another example, the British grocery chain Waitrose on Thursday said it will be changing the name of its Gentleman's Smoked Chicken Caesar Roll because of complaints the name was sexist.
Oh my gosh.
The roll.
Forbid someone's a gentleman. You wouldn't want that to happen.
No, that's sexist. It's so sexist. I mean, lady, gentleman, smoked chicken. The roll, which is part of celebrity chef Heston Blumenthal's range, contains anchovy mayonnaise similar to classic product called Gentleman's Relish, created in the 19th century. Amy Lame, who was appointed by London Mayor as the capital's first night czar in 2016, posted an image of the product on Twitter with a smirking emojicon. I never knew sandwiches were gender specific. I'm female, but thankfully Waitrose let me purchase this anyway. Oh my! Well,
no one would like human smoked salmon. Doesn't sound real good either. So.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. So yeah, welcome to the Jackwagon Train, Kimberly-Clark. Man size. Why would you get butt hurt over that? Who cares? That is to let you know that it is a bigger size. It's man. Men are typically bigger than women. Am I not correct?
I'm not. Is the way that we were. All animals in nature, all mammals that I know of, are created in such a way that the man is, on average, slightly larger than the woman. So,
right. I mean, it's not always the case. I get that.
It is not.
I get that. But that's not in any way are they being sexist by doing that. It says, it's never our intention to cause offense, and it's not our intention here either at Talking Lead. We're not dictating who should eat this sandwich, the company said in a statement. We hope anyone who tries it will love the distinctive flavors. And they go on. I mean, the whole thing is a guy, it's a chef. You know, it's his sandwich. He came up with this sandwich. You know, he's a gentleman, apparently, and it's his sandwich. But it's for everyone.
Yeah, it's strange.
I mean, anyway, yes, thank you for the Jackwagon nomination. Kleenex, Kimberly Clark definitely makes the Jackwagon Train for that. Overly accommodating, I guess, name change. Can you imagine the millions of dollars that it's going to cost them to redo all that too?
No, and it's a nightmare for marketing. Is my guess.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's been millions and millions of people that have bought that product, never thought twice about it until this person said something, and maybe 100 people got offended by it. I don't know. Before we get to J-Mack's Jackwagon, I just want to say this. I'm throwing the person who won the $1.5 billion Mega Millions on the Jackwagon Train for picking those numbers. I mean, who picks those numbers? That had to have been a random pick. But man, can you imagine $1.5 billion? I
literally can't imagine.
That was amazing.
I don't have the capacity to imagine that.
Yeah, so somebody in South Carolina. So I hope it's one of you lead heads. Hope it's one of our listeners that won the $1.5 billion. If it was, get in touch with me. talkinglead@gmail.com. But
I read something recently that said if you ever win the lottery, the first thing you do is ask all of your friends and family for $1,000 loan.
It's the first thing you do.
When they don't loan it to you, it will be easier when you win the lottery to tell them no, since they wouldn't lend you any money. I was like, that's a good idea.
That's funny, yeah. So I need $1,000. Sorry, dude. Can't do it. Can't help you out today.
Mm-hmm. Like, and then you're a millionaire. I don't know.
But it was one person. There was one ticket that won the 1 point. I thought it was like 1.6 billion. I think after it's all said and done, it'll probably be even more than that. But it was the.
I think it depends how they get it too. Like they can get it all at once and it's less, or they can get it over time. And I think there's a few ways to get it.
Yeah, there's a few ways to get it. But I just think after the final count comes in, after all the tickets that were sold and everything, it's going to be a lot more than the 1.5 billion. But I mean, seriously, congratulations to that person. I hope it's not a bonehead. I hope it's not a jackwagon that won that money. I mean, I can think of several people that should never have that kind of money. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that person comes forward to see who it is. I personally would not come forward. What about you?
No, I would keep that. I would keep that to myself. I would help as many people as I humanly could, because you only need so much stuff, quite honestly.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I would definitely
keep it secret. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah. All right, so there's my Jackwagon. Not necessarily the winner, but maybe the winner. But just the lottery in general, I think it's rigged. I think they know and can control, because they know what numbers have been picked. You know, their system knows. So before they do the drawing, they know what numbers have not been picked. And when there's humans involved, I think there's probably some level of cheating or fraud involved too. But that's just the skepticism in me, the skeptic in me.
Well, that's
and probably I'm just butthurt because I didn't win either. So
well, I mean,
that's got a lot to do with it.
We've seen time and time again that people, when the money's involved, do some crazy stuff, man.
I know.
They'll let it get them.
I think
the
majority
take a hold.
Yeah, the majority of the winners, there's horror stories involved. But anyway, J-Mack has a good jackwagon for us. J-Mack, what do you got?
I do. I was scrolling through the local news on my phone, and I saw a heist that the Denver News KKTV reported a successful heist. It was weird that they were talking about how well it went.
I always like a heist story. So I'm intrigued. Let's hear this.
So these thieves scouted out Colorado Springs pot dispensary.
Okay.
And they stole a van. And about 1 a.m. on Wednesday last week.
Did it say what kind of van? Did they say what kind of van it was? It
didn't. It just said that they in a stolen van is all it said.
Okay. So they didn't steal like uniforms, and they weren't coming in as like pests.
No, this is
come to spray for bugs.
This was a smash and grab is what they called it.
Yeah.
So they steal this bus. They've scoped out this place. They want to steal this pot. Who knows if they're gonna, get high and eat Fritos and Doritos for months on end, or if they're gonna sell it. Who knows? But it goes all to plan. They steal the van. They don't get caught. They drive the van into the front of the building, and they load it up with as much pot as they can, and they leave.
Okay.
And then they're talking to the owner, basically.
The police.
And they say, the police are talking to the owner of the dispensary.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, it's cool. Everything they stole was oregano. They didn't even steal any marijuana.
Oregano.
I was like, one, why is this guy a pot dispensary got a bunch of oregano? No idea.
Right.
Two, you went through all this work and had this successful heist, and you stole the wrong kind of herbs. So figure out, do it right or don't do it at all, like Grandpa said, right? So
right. So what's the market price of oregano? I'm Googling that. Oregano is $14 per pound.
Okay.
Which is $1.50 per ounce. What's marijuana? So maybe they did make off with a better.
I can't imagine that oregano is worth more than marijuana.
More than marijuana.
Even if it is, they're complete idiots for breaking into a medical marijuana dispensary and stealing oregano.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot more. So $20 to $1,800 per ounce in the United States is what marijuana goes for.
What?
Holy moly!
So
then the crazy part is, it said the Denver Post reported that a K-9 officer had spotted the suspects, but the teens drove away, and as of Wednesday evening last week, the police had not made an arrest in the case. The kids were successful.
They got away with it.
They planned it and they got away with it. They just stole oregano instead of marijuana.
That is weird. Yeah, they're probably trying to smoke it. They're like, man, this is the worst marijuana ever.
Oh my gosh!
But so
it goes good in our spaghetti for some reason. We love it in our spaghetti, but it doesn't smoke good.
Not
I just
so
want to
much
see
in
the
our
looks
brownies.
on their face. I want to see them arguing amongst themselves about who the idiot is that didn't notice they were stealing oregano. Because they're blaming it on each other.
Didn't do their homework. Anywho.
It's anyway, they got off with a boatload of oregano and got away with it. Maybe they can hit up an Italian restaurant and make a boatload of money.
They can go to the Olive Garden and cut them a deal.
I like that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right, so a couple of others listeners submitted Jackwagons. We've got one here. New York College summons student to a meeting for holding unloaded guns in off-campus Facebook video. So apparently this guy's got his own private Facebook account, and he went to one of these reenactment. Looks like one of these reenactment.
Like the Renaissance or World War.
Like Civil War.
Yeah. Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, like Civil War reenactments or something like that. And the kids just, basically, I guess, just showing the props and guns that they're using in this thing. And he gets called to the college dean, I guess, and he gets reprimanded for doing a video with them.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read that whole story, but you guys can go to... This is the Fire Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, www.thefire.org. And I guess just Google that and that story will come up. And then the other one is Democratic Socialist, and I don't know how to say her name, Ocasio, Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
Fozzie Bear Cortez. I don't know how to say her name. compares climate change to existential threat of Nazi Germany. So she's comparing climate change to the concentration camps and all the horrible, horrific acts that Germany did during World War II. And again, I
can't imagine the rationale behind that one either.
I don't even want to try to figure out what she's trying to compare here. But again, you guys can go to it's Fox News on this one, and you can Google that. But here's a quote. It says, "So when we talk about existential threats, which existential means grounded in the existence or the experience of existence." So it's just basically having being in time and space. You are here, I am here. So I don't really know. I can't figure. Who can figure out liberals anyway? You know, they purposely try to throw words out there to confuse. And I think in her comparison, she is trying to use existential as human existence.
Yeah, she's relating it like in a way of philosophy.
Human existence.
So
she was saying the Nazis were trying to wipe out the human existence. No, that's not what they were trying to do. They were trying to wipe out everyone that didn't
superior race,
which they were going to continue to populate and breed and carry out the existence of humans. Yes. I mean, albeit as crazy ideological idea that they were trying to carry out, but they weren't trying to end human existence altogether. Mm-hmm. Which, if you listen to some of the global warming theorists, you know that's what's happening with the global warming. It's going to wipe out all of mankind. So, which it's not man on man; it's nature.
Yeah.
But they're saying, I guess, men are creating the global warming. But anyway, you guys can go and try and figure out her bonehead explanation there. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, she can go on the Jackwagon Train, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So thank you, Lead Heads, for those submissions. Jason Farmer, Austin Whalen, Ed, thanks for sending those in. Appreciate it. If you guys have nominations for the Talking Lead Jackwagon Train, send them in, talkinglead@gmail.com, and just put Jackwagon or Jackwagon Train in the subject, so I'll know exactly what I'm looking at there. So, all right, Gunny, get that train out of here. So now it's time to talk optics. We want to learn, so we're going to class. Jeremiah's going to take us to class, Optics 101 with Riton USA. So J-Mack, we were talking earlier. I've got this 270 bolt rifle that I want to outfit with a proper optic. Deer season's coming up, and I want to make sure that I've got the right optic on there so I can take down big buck.
Are you trying to existentially wipe out the entire...
I am like global warming
every deer to die.
To deer, yes.
Deer call him, his nickname is global warming because he will eradicate them.
That's good. I like that. Good time.
Yep.
So what are, and I'm using that as an example, but for, let's say I'm just, I've got a home defense rifle, and I want a proper optic on it. Or, I'm taking I'm going down to Camden, Tennessee, or I'm going to Rob Pincus class, and I'm taking, a defensive rifle class. So how do I choose the right optic for the right use?
I think the first thing you have to do is ask yourself some important questions. That's what I always do when I'm talking to people, because that's what matters. And one thing I tell people too, optics are referred to as an accessory.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to pull them out of the accessory category.
Yes.
Because obviously, if your scope sucks, it doesn't matter how good you are, and it doesn't matter how good your gun is, or how good your loads are. So at some point, it's a necessity, right?
Right.
It's not an accessory. So they're a necessity, not an accessory. That's my new catch line for optics. So,
Okay.
so hopefully you've picked a gun that or weapon system to fit your purpose. So let's say we're going to start with home defense, like you said.
Okay, we'll start with home defense.
So you have to ask yourself some questions, right? What kind of weapon is it going on?
Okay, and we're going with a rifle.
Okay.
We're going to go with an AR-15.
Okay. There's a lot of studies that show that is a great home defense weapon. There's a lot of ammunition that is low penetrating, because that's the concern, right? Is killing people in the next room or across the street. So
it kind of is, but my concern is killing the immediate threat. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Marty, I got 6 kids, so there it is. That's a good thing. Like, it's different for each of us, so we got to look at those situations and decide.
Right. And I don't have kids.
Yep. So you just get to unload and make it happen. In my case, I'm
and to hell with my neighbors.
Neighbors, the new people can move in anytime.
Exactly. I know a great real estate agent. I can get that house sold. So don't worry about it.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
So we've picked an AR-15, right? So what I do is literally I'll walk through my home. What's the longest I'm going to shoot this firearm? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the longest distance?
Yeah, that you possibly need. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm kind of cynical, so I'll even the front door, and I'll open that front door and say, what if they run out to their car, get weapons, and are firing back at me? This is so worst case scenario.
Sure.
It's crazy.
But it could happen.
Why not be prepared? So, but the street's 20 yards away, 30 yards away. So in this case, do I need magnification? And I would say the answer is no within that 50, 25 yard range. Mm-hmm. That magnification will actually be detrimental. If you've got a 4-power scope in your home and you're trying to look through it, you're not going to see anything. You're just going to see everything. Yeah. You're not going to have any idea how to engage a target. So luckily for the lead heads, Riton Optics has a couple of red dots, which would be ideal in this situation. So we have our RMD, which is a Riton micro dot. I think you've got one of those, don't you?
I do. I've got a couple of those.
Yeah, and they come with 3 bases, which makes it nice. So you can do a flush mount like on a shotgun. Mm-hmm. You can flush mount it on a shotgun.
AK.
You can put it on an AK. You can do a lower third co-witness on AR, absolute co-witness on AR, and co-witness just means that I can see my front sight.
Your iron
my
sights.
Red dot becomes my red dot kind of becomes my back sight, and I can use my front sight together with it, which can come in handy. And if your red dot doesn't work anymore, it's nice to know that you can center that dot on your front post too, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You could still use that if you had to, if you couldn't use your flip up sights. But
yeah, if your red dot dies, then you can still look through the glass and you can see your front post sight by using your rear iron sights.
Yeah, and quite honestly, in the home situation, you're looking at, is it safe to say like 5 yards would be 10 yards? Mm-hmm. Is you're living good if you got a 10-yard shot probably in your house.
Yeah.
So we don't need that magnification. So those red dots are just awesome for that.
Yeah, and you got the visibility, so you can see them in low light conditions. You can see them in bright light conditions with the red dot.
Both of our red dots are actually compatible with night vision, just in case you're ready to rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Settings 1 and 2 are both good for night vision. So
perfect. Yes,
there's any situation you need that red dot's going to be ready for you, and it's gonna work great. It's reliable. There's not a lot of moving parts.
So you're saying
you can bang it around, it just works.
For home defense, we're doing close quarter. Obviously, this is close quarters.
Close quarter combat.
Combat kind of the scenarios, what we're talking about. Red dots are ideal for that. You guys also you're talking about, if you need the magnification, you've got the 3X magnifier that you can throw on behind that red dot and give you the magnification. With the red dot.
that would be maybe an ideal setup, is having the ability to have the magnification and or have just the 1X.
So you're saying dot. For that rare occasion, and the home invasion is going to be a rare occasion also, but you want to be prepared. Yeah. So if you're making the perfect home defense gun, You're putting the red dot on there. You throw the 3x magnifier that way. I mean, I live, I've got acres here at my house. So, I mean, realistically, I could have threats, up to, 100 yards away. And need
3X
the magnification. But if I didn't need it, then I just flip it to the side because you guys have that flip to the side mount.
It's so cool.
It is. It's awesome.
And it goes either right or left too. It doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. It'll work for everybody.
Yeah. So I am right-handed, even though my nickname is Lefty, but I do a left flip on my magnifier. So I flip it to the left. Yeah, I do. So I push it forward.
Do you shoot right-handed or left-handed?
Yeah, no, I shoot right-handed. The reason I don't flip it over to the right is I don't want my brass hitting it.
There you go. Well, traditionally, and it sounds like you know this already, traditionally the idea is to be able to shoot with both eyes open.
Yeah.
And so you want that, if you're right-handed and you're shooting right-handed, you want that magnifier to flip to the right.
Yeah.
Your right eye is looking down the side, your left eye is looking peripheral. And that's the thing, folks, like go out and train, for the things that matter or the things that you really care about. Don't hope that you know how to work that firearm in the middle of the night when your adrenaline spikes through the roof and you don't know what's going on and you're worried about your wife or something, kids.
But Jeremiah, another reason why that I did set it up that way, and I may want to consider changing it back now, is because when I first had that, I had the cataract in my left eye and I couldn't see out of that eye anyway, so it didn't matter.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
So I was thinking, I don't want it to flip over here because I don't want to risk cracking. So I was like, screw it, I'll just flip it over and I'll do it over to this side because I can't see out of that eye anyway. But now that I can see out of that eye, I probably want to reconsider that. So you are right.
That would be my
recommendation.
Opinion on that one. Yeah, is leave that eye open for peripheral. But a great option especially for like if you got a little ranch or something, that red dot's great. And a little red dot is fantastic on a shotgun. That's my personal. And again, we may rile some people up. Let me just say right now, there are lots of opinions on what's the perfect self-defense, home defense weapon. To each their own.
Well, and we're not talking about that. We're not talking about, what's the weapon here. We're talking about optics. This isn't the show where we're, saying this is the best defense gun or what. We're just saying if you're using this is the optic, and if you're using your firearm for this purpose, this is the optics. That's the purpose of this 101 optics. And right now we're on the AR-15. Jeremiah kind of jumped ahead with the shotgun. So next, if you had a shotgun, I think we still need to go back to the AR-15 because you guys have options for that also, not just a red dot. You have 1 to 4, 1 to 5s, 1 to 8s. Yeah, that can start off with no magnification, which is perfect again for your home defense. You can look through that optic, and you'll be able to see, full field of view without the magnification. And then if you need it to magnify, then you've got the option to magnify. So the 1 to, I would say X, whatever power you want to go to, that is a great home defense optic solution as well.
Absolutely. And on 1 power with an illuminated reticle in a 15 feet, 20 feet situation, it's basically a red dot anyway. That's those 1 powers with illuminated reticles are like the 1 to 8, for instance. It's made to be a red dot on 1 power. You shoot it with both eyes open. You just center that whole illuminated reticle on whatever it is, elephants, people, dogs, whatever, within that 20 feet, and you're good to go if you've properly
steel
sighted
targets.
it in. So that,
whatever you're shooting, X steel targets, by the way.
Yes, whatever. Yeah, I hear those are good.
They're amazing. Yeah, they are. They're very good. Charlie's going to be using those in his long distance world record breaking shot. So.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so shotguns, the red dots are great for shotgun, and a lot of people choose the shotgun for home defense, and that is a great option. Whether you're using the 12 gauge, the 20 gauge, even a 410 is, if that's what you can handle, that's a good home defense rifle.
Yeah, and people, the reason that red red dot is important. There are some misnomers that I'll try to clarify. I feel like are facts.
Okay.
That buckshot, that double out buckshot you have, that bird shot, that 4 turkey shot, whatever you got. People say I just point in that general direction, and I'll shoot them because it's a shotgun. Well, if you look at the ballistics and what those rounds do, they are very tight. 20 feet, 30 feet. They're still, that buckshot is probably within an inch and a half.
You still gotta have some sort of vicinity aiming going on there.
The point in the general down the hallway where the person is and pulling the trigger isn't. It's not suggested because it's a pretty tight pattern in those short distances.
It's not a guarantee that you're going to stop the threat by doing it that way. So you need to aim. So the red dot gives you that quick target acquisition, even with the shotgun. Absolutely.
So same thing there. I would recommend the red dots. You probably don't need a 3x magnifier for your shotgun. Even if you got a slug, 100 yards or so is about it. But same thing, that red dot I think is a great choice.
Yeah.
And again, we're looking at like what's the best use, what do we want to do, what do we want to accomplish, and so those are some options in that realm. We can talk more about the AR and those 1 to 4, 1 to X powers.
Yeah.
As we progress here because they have a lot of uses.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just talking home defense right now. So and rifles. We're not talking handguns. I mean, handguns, again, a whole nother game, whole different set of optics that we're talking about here. We're talking about rifle optics here, okay?
Yes, sir.
Just to clarify that, because a lot of people are saying, well, I use a handgun. What are you good for handguns? Well, we're not getting to that yet. We'll get to that'll be another show. So
we'll get there. Yep.
All right. So you're talking about shotguns, and hunting season is coming up, and deer. I don't know, pheasants, duck. Duck hunting, all that. People are getting geared up for that. Let's talk about that. Let's say I'm going pheasant hunting, and I'm taking my shotgun.
So we're going bird hunting. So again, we ask our question, what's our firearm system? So we've got a 12 gauge. We're just going to pick that. And we're assuming that we will be shooting no farther than, what would you say, 30, 40 yards?
Yeah, at the most. Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, just like extent. So again, we got to ask ourselves, do we need a bunch of magnification to shoot 40 yards? Probably not. We probably don't need that magnification. So what's the best optic for that situation? Again, I think we come back to the red dot. In that under 50 yards kind of engagement of whatever it is, again, becomes a really great. And the cool thing about the red dot is they're so small on your firearm that your non-dominant eye that's not looking down it can be open. And with pheasant hunting, you know how it is, man. They come jumping out of the bushes right in front of you.
Yeah.
10 feet in front of you. And if you're closing that one eye and all you can see is scope, it's going to be hard for you to get on target. So target acquisition is a big deal with bird hunting. So that little dot and both eyes open is going to grant you the best chance at being successful.
Yeah.
For
and the
bird
red
turkey
dot,
hunting, pheasant.
Yeah, the red dot versus and I know that some people will put the what's the crap they put in sight so it glows? Tritium.
Oh, like tritium?
Tritium. Yeah, they put tritium front post sights on there so you get, you can pick up your sights a lot quicker. Where with the red dot, you're going to be able to pick it up even quicker. So that's the benefit of putting a red dot, because a lot of people will just use their iron sights for their shotguns to do the bird hunting, which is fine. It's perfectly great option because you don't typically need any magnification. But with that red dot, because it's not taking up so much real estate on your firearm, it's a great solution for shotguns because you still get your peripheral vision through both eyes. As your shotgun is down and as you're bringing it up, you don't have to overcome some of the bigger scopes and things like that as you're getting target acquisition.
Yeah, and the dot in both of our red dots, the red dot in there is a 2 minute of angle red dot. So at 100 yards, it only covers up 2 inches. So you can back that up and see how small it is relative to targets that are up close to you. So we feel like it's a good all around size. Some people like 3, some people like 1. 2 seems to be a middle of the road. It'll work for your home defense. It'll work for turkey hunting. It'll work for pheasant hunting. There's a lot of applications for it. It's great for AR. I love a red dot on my AR. I love it. Personally, I love to shoot long range, I think, as the lead heads know. But when it comes to the AR, man, I just love that red dot. I love to send a lot of rounds. I'm not trying to send one precise round. I'm slinging lead in mass quantities, and so I go for the red dot. And therein lies another question, right? Are you trying to be now we're moving on from the
we have
gun on a bird?
Yeah, so the shotgun. So now we're going to go to I don't think anybody really hunts pheasants with anything other than a shotgun. I don't think it's legal, right?
I don't know. I can't say that I know anything about that whatsoever.
In our state, it's not. So pheasant hunting. So now we're moving on to, let's say we're going to. We're not really to deer hunting yet. So let's start off with the next maybe predator hunting, varmint hunting.
Ooh, yes.
So now we're varmint hunting.
A lot of varmint hunters out there.
Yeah.
And so same questions apply. So I'll ask you, Marty, as if you're the consumer here.
Okay.
So we're saying you're shooting prairie dogs or coyotes, something like that.
Prairie dogs, coyotes, possum, whatever it may be. We got a lot of freaking possum around here. We got a lot of skunks around here this time of year.
Skunks are terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Skunks are terrible, terrible, terrible. But let's say I'm using 22. I got my 22. Okay. I'm taking out some possums, and I'm taking out some skunks. I'm taking out some squirrels, just general varmints. And I've got a 22 rifle. I've got a
22.
Yeah, like a 10. Ruger 1022. Let's say I got that.
Okay. And so is it safe to say that you're engaging these varmints and/or predators with your 22, 50 to a couple hundred yards out?
Less than up to 100 yards.
Up to 100.
Yeah,
so,
that kind of predator, yeah. Now, when we get to the coyotes and things like that, maybe a little further.
Yeah, we might reach out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this application,
but I'm not going to use a 22 for coyotes, so.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're asking ourselves, what do we really need? And this is what I want to do for the customer, is tell you what you really need. If you want to overkill it, by all means. I love America and a big V8 engine, and I'm all about having more than I need. But we're trying to teach people, this is a good starting place. Yeah. So Riton actually has an amazing optic designed around the 22 long rifle cartridge. And it's in the Mod 3 line. It's a 2-to-7 power.
2-to-7,
okay. So here's a great range. We want 2 power because maybe it's only 10 yards, right? Maybe the skunk's 10 yards. I don't recommend shooting a skunk 10 yards away, but whatever it is, let's say it's 10 yards. I've made that further than that. Yeah. I've made that mistake personally, is why I laugh about that. So I can't even smell like vinegar anymore without it reminding me of skunk. I've had to clean myself and dogs so many times. But the 2-to-7 range, what it allows you is very close engagement and about as far as your weapon system is going to be lethal, right? Because if you're shooting something with a 22 past 100 yards or so, you're starting to push the limits of its stopping power. Would you agree?
Yes.
So we don't need more than that. So that magnification is designed right around it. And the super cool thing about the Riton, it's a Mod 3 Gen 2 2-to-7, and it has a bullet drop compensator specifically for the 22 long rifle.
Nice.
So it's awesome. And this is HD Japanese glass in this thing. It has something that a lot of scopes in this price range don't, and that is a parallax adjustment.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You don't see that for a 22 very often.
No, sir. And and not in this price range. I mean, MSRP is $200. It's push, pull, lock-in turrets. The parallax adjustment goes down to 10 yards. So, and people don't know this until it's too late, but you have this 2-7 optic. And if it doesn't have a parallax and it's magnified, it is almost always going to be designed around a basic 100-yard parallax. A fixed parallax is what it's called.
Now, we've talked about parallax in our previous one-on-one classes, but just a quick highlight again, remind our maybe our new listeners about what parallax is.
So what parallax is when your intended target and your reticle are not on the same focal plane, it's going to seem blurry. Whether the target's blurry or the reticle itself will be blurry because they're not on that same focal plane. So there's an adjustment that moves that reticle so that when you are looking at the intended target, that you have a nice crisp crosshair or whatever your reticle is, and a nice crisp picture of your intended target.
Right.
And that's, obviously that makes sense. We want that.
Okay.
And so that's you have that. This optic.
Yeah, you've got that with this 22, which is rare for a scope designed for 22.
It is. It's rare in general to have a parallax adjustment that goes that low.
Yeah.
So we did that because we assume with the 22, you could be 10 yards to a couple 100 yards max. That's like the max close and far away ranges. Far away ranges, that's a technical term. So, but the cool thing is what you do, you mount this awesome optic up and you sight it in at 50 yards. And then you have a 75-yard drop, 100-yard drop, and a 125-yard drop. And for my experiences, you can actually use where the big post in the bottom of the reticle comes up and meets the thin post. You've got a pretty good 200-yard spot on there too. But it gives you this wide range, and I don't know. I honestly can't say enough about this optic because you don't see an optic in this price range with this kind of glass and construction, and parallax, push pull, lock and turret. So yeah, little plug for that very specific optic. Check that one out on the website.
For you varmint hunters, so the 2-7 is a great option if you're going to be shooting under 200, let's say under 150 with the 22.
With the 22.
So there's a great option for that. So now let's move it up to. Do you have another option for the 22 that you would think would be a good option before I move on, or is that's probably the best solution?
Yes, sir. For the 22, I think that's your best option all around.
So now let's move up in predators, and let's go with the coyote. Let's go with the bobcat. Let's go with fox. We're hunting the foxes, so we're going to move up in our calibers, and we're going to go up to what would you say would be logically the next steps? So 22, jump into the 223 556.
Yeah, 556 223 is a pretty common 300
blackout.
Oh yeah. All those are going to be great, and they're nice in that AR platform because it's semi-automatic. You can send a few rounds,
or even just your rifle, your bolt rifle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 223.
Because we got a lot of people that hunt with their bolt rifles as well. So let's move up to that round.
Okay, and there's a few options. Now we're running into a place where there's a few options. So let's talk about say a bobcat first.
Okay.
Again, we're going to ask ourselves some new questions now. As we get into these farther distances, we have cooler options. So, do we like first focal plane or do we like second focal plane options?
And we've talked about that before. And obviously, I need some re-education in that because I say the wrong thing, but I know what I mean. I know which one I'm talking about, but I say the wrong name for it. So, first focal plane versus second focal plane, real quick.
Okay, I'll try to make it quick and easy.
Yeah.
With a first focal plane optic, your reticle grows and shrinks with your magnification. So on low magnification, your reticle is going to look really small. Big magnification, big reticle. Why? The reason behind this is because those subtensions, those bullet drops, those whatever's inside of your reticle, they stay the same in relation to your target. So you don't have to do any extra math to decide how far away those two spaces. If it's 5 minute of angle, 2 minute of angle, it's 2 minute of angle on 24 power. It's 2 minute of angle on 6 power. That you can range with it. There's a lot of good reasons, but that's I think the simplest explanation for that first focal plane. The second focal plane, obviously the reticle does not grow and shrink. The benefit to that is, a lot of long range shooters like that, because your reticle stays thin and small at long ranges. It doesn't cover up a lot of your target. And most people have hunted and been associated with second focal plane optics, and they may not even know it, but so we have a Mod 7 4-20, which is a second focal plane optic, has 2 minute of angle hash marks. So when anyone gives you those subtensions, those numbers, they are intended on full power. So they are 2 minute of angle on full power. So that means if it's 20 power and it's 2 minute of angle, if you come down to 10 power, those hash marks are now 4 minute of angle. And that's fine. You just have to know, what your subtensions are at each magnification. So you can see there's a benefit for each one. Sometimes it's literally just a preference of what you think's cool or what's hot right now or what you like. That's fine. That's a good reason to buy something, because you like it.
Yeah. If it works for you, it works for you, definitely. But it's good to have options.
It is. So, and that's why I say that's a question to ask yourself. So maybe you have to go and do some research and say, well, I like second focal plane because that's what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, we have a number of options. I think the tried and true 3-9 is hard to beat, man.
It is.
It just our fathers and grandfathers have been using a 3-9 for a long time. There's a reason it's still around. It just works. So I would suggest that. Another thing.
Now your 3-9, do you have first and second in that?
No, sir. The 3-9 is just a second focal plane optic.
Okay.
And another thing we're going to ask ourselves, I should have mentioned too, is what kind of reticle do we want? Do we want a nice clean picture, or do we want a bunch of tick marks in there to use to call for wind and holdovers and stuff? Mm-hmm. My guess would be, if I'm predator hunting, I don't need a whole bunch of that.
Yeah.
Again, there's some preference. I'll probably get beat up online, but there's preferences. But
it depends on your distance that you're going varmint hunting or whatever, pigs or coyotes or bobcats or whatever it may be. And if you're going, 200 and above, then the tick marks, you're probably going to want to incorporate those into your.
Nice to have some reference marks, when you get out there. But that 3-9 is great, and all those, let's call them like intermediate mid-range. It's just incredible. You're going to be able to do whatever you want with that.
Now, a lot of people will hunt these varmint. Varmints come out typically at night. Mm-hmm. So the illumination that you guys provide with your scopes, is that something that you want to look at as well? Is illumination? And when I say illumination, explain what that is.
Yeah. So what it means is
it's not a flashlight.
No. What it is the reticle itself. Is either black, with no illumination, and our reticles are etched into the glass, so it'll look black. Or we put a light on that reticle, and it lights that reticle up. And the real reason for that is when it's dark, there are shadows and things are dark. And if your reticle is dark, it's very easy for your reticle to get lost in the shadows, in the darkness. So but you could still see a silhouette. You can have been watching this coyote come in from 1,000 yards away and it's dark, but that's what it is. But now you can't you don't know where your reticle is in relationship to the coyote. Having illumination gives you that edge. I will say, in some states,
that's true.
I don't think varmint hunting has the same rules, but check your local rules and regulations, because illuminated reticles are not legal everywhere for hunting.
That is true. Good point.
Yes, sir. So the 3 to 9 is not illuminated.
So another question you have to ask yourself: what are your local, state and local rules and laws for hunting? So that's something else you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, these are.
You may like the illumination, but you can't use it for this particular hunt.
Yep. You don't want to go to jail for illuminated reticle.
Right.
That would be pretty lame. No one would.
Even if you didn't turn it on, the fact that it could be used, it's all about intent.
They're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe you if you say, I have it, but I'm not going to use it. Yeah, they're not. No one's buying it.
Mm-mm.
So, but yes, good point. We want to make sure we're following all our federal and state guidelines with regards to shooting and hunting and everything else. So
yeah,
that's some homework to be done on top of all these other questions we ask ourselves. So, yes, to answer that question, it is very helpful. If you live out in the backwoods and you own your property and there's a skunk on your property or something and you want to shoot it, it would be nice to have an illuminated reticle for sure.
Yeah.
Like you said, because these animals tend to come out in those evening hours.
Now, if you're out target shooting, you got your X steel target set up and you've got some, targets made in the shape of your skunk or your pig or your coyote, whatever it may be, you can illuminate that all you want to.
Have fun, man.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Go
yes,
ting,
sir.
ting, ting with that.
So we're doing our varmint hunting, our coyote hunting, and
so we're doing over 150. So we're at 200 yards now. Smaller type targets. So we haven't moved up to the big targets yet. Let's say we're up to 400. We'll go 200 to 400. That's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Okay, I wanna bring up our hunting 1 to 8 that we partnered with Craig Boddington on.
Yeah.
Really awesome for this kind of for this range, and honestly, since it's a 1 power, it's good from real close out to 300 or 400 yards. I've shot out to 100 yards with it, no problem, like easy money. So that's a great option as well, because you never know, because these kind of varmints have a tendency of not being scared sometimes. Deer don't come check you out. You know what I mean? They split.
Yeah.
But sometimes predators and varmints are a little more intrusive. And so something with a low magnification, could be very, very, very helpful. And the hunting 1 day, it's really designed for, I might get in trouble for saying that, but we've been saying dangerous game. We're not trying to go hunt lions and tigers. We're not like insinuating.
Well, in my opinion, a skunk is dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, and a possum, they're mean little sons of bitches. I mean, they'll gnaw your ankle off.
Absolutely.
They carry all kinds of diseases.
You don't want to get bit by none of that. And animals are just stronger than us. So we lose those fights quite often, even if it's a little animal.
Yeah. Yeah. But the 1 to 8 hunting that you're talking about, that's like a great, just multi-purpose kind of scope, because it can do the close range. It could do your home defense. It could do your, up to under 200. And then with that 8 power, I mean, you can go way out there with the 8 power, so
I would say you could be
1,000 easy,
500 yards easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
800.
And
yeah.
what I think of like, pigs. I've been hog hunting and I've been chased by pigs more than a few times.
Yeah.
And so that 1 power, it's a 1 to 8 by 28, just meaning it has a bigger objective. Like our
gets
1 to 4
more light in there.
Yeah, and just a bigger field of view, because you want to be able to see what's going on and get a hold of this critter or whatever and quickly get your target on it and pull trigger. So another great option for, and if you think about it, the 3 to 9 were 9 power, the 1 to 8 all the way up to 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive magnification. You won't see a lot of 1 to 8s on the market. They're not huge because that's a difficult scope to make and make right.
Yeah, the technology just got there to be able to really do that, going from 1 to 8 magnification, because there's a lot that goes into that. Because, like you're saying, if it's a first focal plane and your reticle's getting bigger, where do you start the reticle? And at some point, it's going to get too big, and it's going to take up the whole, your whole target, and you won't be able to see it. So, I mean, there's a lot of design and a lot of technology that goes behind being able to do it and do it properly.
Absolutely. And parallax is a big part of that.
And then parallax, yeah.
They don't have the parallax adjustment. And so people ask me, why then, if parallax is so awesome, why don't you have parallax adjustment? And so let's say you got the tactical 1 to 8 and someone's done wrong and you're after them and you decide, okay, they're 50 yards away. So do you stop and set your parallax to 50 yards and then they're 75 yards away? So you got to quickly change it to,
well, that big trophy buck he's 100 yards, but then you can't get the shot, and now he's moving on out a little bit further, and he's moving on out a little bit further. So the answer to that question is parallax is wonderful, especially if you have time, if you're sitting and you have time. But if it's a hog, if it's a coyote, a mountain lion, an intruder, you don't have time to stop and set a parallax. Mm-hmm. So you want a scope that's so awesome that the parallax is good to go all the way from 1 to 8. Yeah.
And so and they're more expensive. Bottom line, they're more expensive for sure because of that technology that goes into them. But wanted to throw the 1 to 8 hunting out there as a great option for.
Well, that just goes and that goes with any of the 1 to, like I was saying, X, whatever power it is, the 1 to 4s, the 1 to, any time you can just start off with just, and it's good for just glassing, if you just want to glass, and then you can, zoom in to whatever power, that you've decided is the one that you need. Well, the 1 to 4, the 1 to 5, the, 1 to 8, which why wouldn't you just go ahead and get the 1 to 8? Because then you skip all the others. And if you need that extra power, you got it, right? So.
Yeah. I think it's a
great
option.
As far as calibers go, I mean, what's the 1 to 8 rated up to?
So all of the scopes are 1200 G rated.
Okay.
Let's see. A 50 cal is 560, 570 Gs.
Gotcha.
So your 338 Lapua, your 375 H&H Magnum, all the scopes are going to be fine.
There you go.
On anything. So there's no worries with caliber and our scopes across the board. They're all 1200 G rated, so they can handle anything you or Mother Nature can put out at them. Yeah.
So you were talking earlier, and this will help maybe clear up some questions that are some people's minds too. You're saying, well, that 2 to 7, you said it's 22 caliber rated. So when something's rated for what are you talking about there? What does that mean?
So when the 22, the 2 to 7 is designed specifically for the 22 long rifle. It's still 1200 G rated, but the reticle itself has pre-done the math for you.
There you go.
On the drop for that 22. So when you get it sighted in, you can use those dots in the reticle to know where your bullet's going to impact at, 50, 75, 100, 125 yards.
A 22 is going to have a different trajectory than a 30 caliber, 308.
Absolutely. Tremendously different.
So the scope, the tick marks, as we were calling them, do they have actual names? Is it just tick marks?
Subtensions.
Subtensions, okay, which the tick marks are called subtensions. They're spaced appropriately for the bullet drop.
Yes, they've calculated that bullet drop for you ahead of time.
Now it's not for all the different kind of, 308's got several different kind of loads. 22, there's fewer loads, I would think, for a 22 than there are the 308.
Yeah, it's designed for about a 40 grain bullet, which is going to be just about anything you buy.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah, and I've tested most of these scopes myself. If you're shooting a little bit heavier or a little bit lighter, unless you're doing competition and you're trying to shoot, business cards turned sideways, then it works. Right. It works just great. For all those different weight bullets. It's 40 is the most, it's the traditional. And so that's what we went with. But I would go out and play with it. You'll be surprised how accurate it is in variations, a little heavier and a little lighter too. So, but yeah, that's when we say it's specific for that, we're talking about the reticle itself, not what the scope's rated for as far as, trauma to the scope because of the firearm system.
Yeah. So that clears that up. I know a lot of people say, "Well, you said that was for 22." Well, it's how the reticle is designed. So that a nutshell. All right. So we've gone up to our 1 to 8. We've gone up to 400, 500 even. I mean that 1 to 8 will definitely take you beyond the 500 and still be very accurate with that thing. What would you think the natural progression would be now?
I think for hunting, our natural progression now is, whitetail, mule deer, elk, right?
Yep.
So I would say, again, there's a couple things to factor in. And most people know this. Like, I live here in Utah. I don't condone this, but they just shot an elk 1,557 yards away. Wow. Again, I don't condone that, but you can do that here because you have that range. So if I'm here in Utah and I'm hunting elk or mule deer, I need some real magnification. I'm going to be glassing and looking, and I'm going to have the opportunity to shoot something that might be pretty far away. So our 4 to 16 by 50 with the wide field of view is a great option for that. Again, that one's second focal plane, and it has 2 MOA subtensions in the reticle. They aren't designed for any specific caliber. They're just 2 minutes of angle apart to give you some references for both windage and elevation. They're capped turrets, which is important if you're hunting. If you're crawling through the bushes and stuff, you don't want your turrets to turn. There's nothing worse than you have your sighted in, and then all of a sudden you've knocked your turrets. You don't know if you went forward or backwards. So yeah, those cap turrets are great for hunting, especially if you're stalking, if you're going out, even if you're just climbing up into a deer stand. I hunted in Texas for years, and we hunted out of deer stands, and it's easy to bump that turret. So those cap turrets are great for that intermediate to long range hunting. That 4 to 16, the 4 still gives you a low enough power. If they're 50, 100 yards away, you're still able to use your optic. But on 16 power, I've shot over a mile on 16, 17 power. So nice. Do you know what I'm saying? It's plenty. So when Charlie Melton shot 5,000 yards, he was on 18 power.
5,025 to be
yes, precise. You're correct. Yeah.
But we don't want to shortchange him,
We don't want to. No, that was an amazing day.
Yeah.
So just to give you, some perspective, a 5,000 yard shot was made with that power. And what people don't realize sometimes is that power, the mirage becomes a problem at higher powers. Our glass is great, so it does cut through that pretty well. But you really don't need incredibly high magnification for hunting. You don't need to count hairs on the animal. You just need to be able to identify it, make sure it's legal, and make a clean kill on the animal. And both the 3 to 9 and the 4 to 16 are great for that. It's a matter of, do you like the reticle to have a little hash marks? Do you like the extra power because you're shooting a little longer? Those are the questions that you ask yourself there. We also have, those are the 3 to 9 and 4 to 16 are both second focal plane. We have it's been super popular. It's the Mod 5 Gen 2 6 to 24 by 50, and it is a first focal plane and illuminated. We've seen a lot of people doing, coyote hunting at long distance with it, varmint hunting at long distance, and then deer hunting. It has the Riton ranging reticle in it, which is a really busy reticle. Gives you a whole lot of information to use. So it's a great target optic, but it's in our hunting line because it's such variable uses for it. But that's one to check out too if you like the first focal plane and the busy reticle for hunting.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
So a lot of preferences involved. There really are.
Yeah, and just personally, I'm going to be taking out the 1-8. Rifle season going to be starting up here pretty soon in Tennessee, and I'm going to take the 1-8 out. That's what I'm going to use.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome, man. You have to get some good pictures and videos for us.
Well, I hope I can. I hope I'll have some free hands to be able to do that. So the deer, you're talking about those. Now we've not talked about the new scope yet, right?
Oh, are you ready? Is everyone, you think they're ready for it?
I think we should do that. I think because this is going to be an awesome one. It's going to be one of those that you can have multiple uses for it. And for you long distance precision shooters, if you like the 5-25, which I absolutely love the 5-25, and like you said, that one that just with the 16 magnification, you were going over a mile with it. With the 25, you're topping that one basically.
Yeah,
so
by a bunch.
I think this would be a great time. Kind of drum roll. What are you guys dropping on us now? And I've talked about it before in the past, but it's here, and you guys are going to be able to get this any day now.
We will be shipping these out November 1st.
Okay.
So we're literally, what is today, the 24th? So it's literally right around the corner.
There you go. And this is it's our Mod 7 line, which is our upper line. This optic we're about to drop will be the new Riton flagship optic. It will be the top of the line. And it is a 4-32 power. So 4-32 by 56 millimeter objective. Wow.
And a 34 millimeter tube. So big tube, big objective, huge magnification range. But that's not it. 32 power is pretty amazing, but this is a first focal plane optic. Okay. Which is what the people have been asking for. We really built this around what, we were seeing the long range shooters, the PRS shooters, the hunters, all of them wanted a handful of things. Mm-hmm. I believe we've got them all piled into this amazing 4-32. So you've got the 32 power, you've got the first focal plane. It's an incredible illuminated Christmas tree reticle. It has 2/10 mil subtensions. This is a mil scope, so the adjustments will be 1/10 of MRAD.
Okay. And when you say MRAD, that means
that's a mil radiant. So both MOA and MRAD are just angular measurements.
There you go.
And so that's don't be intimidated by mil or MOA if you don't know the other one. You could very quickly learn them, and they're not difficult to learn. You just got to know.
Now this scope would be ideal for putting on what kind of firearm?
Man, I have a real hard time saying what. So I'm gonna start at the low end, okay?
Okay.
Well, I haven't even got through all the features, believe it or not.
No, we're going to get to those. Yeah, as we're talking about the different rifles that go on, then we can throw in the features. Is like for this one, this feature is going to be great for this.
We'll sprinkle in some of the awesomeness.
There you go.
So we see a whole lot of people actually. There's a new kind of PRS circuit, but it's a 22 long rifle PRS circuit. So they are doing precision rifle shooting, and they're doing it with 22s. The reason this is a scope for that is they're shooting short distances, but they're shooting very, very, very precise. Mm-hmm. And so that 32 power may be most used by the people shooting the 22s, as
Interesting.
It sounds contradictory, right? Like counterintuitive, like more magnification and the smaller projectile, but that's what happens is
But the more precise, the more precise you're trying to be, the tighter you want to be in on your target.
Yes, sir. So we're seeing a huge group of people in that 22 long rifle circuit that are excited about this optic coming out. And then up from that, I don't know if you've heard of like the 6.5 Creedmoor before or not.
Oh, I think we've heard a thing or two about that. Yeah.
So we just have a whole gaggle of people that got their 6.5 Creedmoors and they shoot the PRS circuits, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's huge right now. And the reason the first focal plane aspect of this scope is important is because you have to identify and shoot targets usually from 100 to 1,000 yards away. Wow. So the first focal plane reticle with the Christmas tree lets you account for wind, which you have to just call on the fly. So you need those extra windage marks. You'll need to have your dope card set up so you know how many mil of drop you have at 500 yards and 600 yards and all the way out to 1,000. So that feature becomes a real awesome feature for those guys.
Yeah.
Something else that it has is, so when you're doing these shoots, you're shooting, you'll shoot 100 yards and then 5 and then 4 and 1,000 and then you'll come back to 100. Well, how do you know on your turrets, if you're dialing anything, where your 100 yards is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a feature called a zero stop.
Mm-hmm.
And this optic does have a zero stop.
Nice.
And so all of the Riton Optics are zero resettable, which means you zero the optic, say at 100 yards,
mm-hmm.
and you pull that turret off and you turn it around to zero so that you have a starting point to do your math from. But if you're dialing that thing and cranking it, going all over the place, and then you need to come back to 100 to start again, how do you know where that is? Well, you don't unless you have a zero stop. And what that means is you crank that turret all the way down and it just stops and won't let you go any farther once you hit that, and you can put the zero stop distance wherever you want.
Yeah,
whatever it is that you've decided. So incredible feature, incredibly useful. I mean, in every application that's useful to know where your 100-yard zero is, because it's easy to get lost. It really is.
Yeah.
And especially in the PRS kind of shooting world or hunting, if you're dialing in and out and getting crazy, you need to have a reference point to start from.
Absolutely.
And that's what that zero stop does for you.
Very cool.
So talked about like the 22 folks. We've talked about the, cause a lot of people like to go out too with a 223 or something, or
mm-hmm.
a 22, 250, and they want to shoot like prairie dogs at 600 yards.
Yeah.
This optic, again, ideal.
Very cool.
I think the hunters are going to love this optic too. For me personally, I don't like a reticle that busy when there's trees and shrubbery and stuff. I like a little less busy reticle. But people are loving their Christmas tree reticles, Marty.
Now you're saying Christmas tree, and I know a lot of people are hearing that and they're going, "What the hell is he talking about?" So just visually, vocally, visually set a visual for us on this. Talk about. So you got your crosshairs, okay?
So this reticle, it has the crosshairs. So you have the horizontal and vertical that meet in the middle, and there's just a dot.
Okay.
It's like a 0.4 of a mil dot in the very middle.
Okay.
And then under that dot, you have a reticle that is in the shape of a triangle for like a more precise visual.
Okay.
That triangle has those 0.2 sub-mil dots. So what that means is there's just dots. In that triangle shape, there's just dot. They're both vertical and horizontal so that you can use them for windage and elevation.
Okay.
The 0.2 mil just means that's how far apart they are. And since it's first focal plane, they're that far apart in every magnification range.
Okay.
But what that gives you is just a lot of reference marks for both windage and elevation.
So when you're doing your holdovers, then you've got the dots there for you to do your windage.
And so you could basically never even need to dial your reticle. Right. I mean, dial your turrets. You could use that reticle for everything. And I mean, that's obviously, for obvious reasons, is a huge advantage.
Right. Especially
when you're doing quick work at different distances.
Yeah.
it's very, very, very useful and helpful. So
that's something that's very important, that when you guys get your scope, the reticle that's there, you need to know how to properly use your reticle. Know what all the reference marks are for, and when you should use them, and how to use them, and that's key to get the full benefit out of your optic. So
absolutely.
This 4-32 is coming with the Christmas tree one. So
yeah. So again, and the reason that being awesome and important is it gives you the ability to really quickly make adjustments. And so people often think, at the PRS or the hunting circuit are the only times you want to make those real quick adjustments. Well, that's not true. When you're shooting long range, you're dealing with multiple variables, often, most often the wind. Mm-hmm. And the wind changes rapidly. And the farther you shoot, the more impact that has on your bullet. So to be able to take a shot, see where it lands, you can use that reticle to measure the distance you are from the target, and then use the reticle again to make an adjustment and get on target before any other variables change. So all of a sudden, it's also an incredible long range.
Absolutely. And guys, optics. This is Optics 101. We're not going to teach you how to shoot in this, in this course. So what you guys want to do is you want to get in touch with a professional like Charlie Melton.
Absolutely.
Who does this they train people how to shoot, how to properly use their optics, their reticles. He does that for a living. So just a little plug for Charlie there.
I can safely say I don't think there's a more skilled or qualified man on the planet. So I'll go on record.
So this, we're highlighting the 4-32. This is Riton's new optic that they've got out. We've been talking about it for a while. They just came out with a 1-8, so I'm getting used to my 1-8, loving it. But I can't wait to get this one because, I like to go long. So this is definitely going to get me, like you said, probably further than I'm going to be able to find a place to shoot it, but very precise. So again, like you were saying with these 22 shooters, it's not necessarily just the distance as well. It's being precise and being able to dial in on that target and seeing exactly, where it is that you need to be hitting. So we're going to be putting holes in holes in holes with this thing. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. This is, and again, I really feel like this optic, can be useful in any application you can think of, because it starts at 4 power. Yeah. So, you can do some real close shooting with that. And then I don't have to tell you that 32 power is a lot of power. It's a lot of adjustment.
That is. But typically your market for this is going to be the higher caliber rifles. But as you pointed out, with the competition shooters and the PCC with the 22s, it's going to be a hot commodity for them as well.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what's going on right now in the shooting world, and to have these kind of optics options, I think is a game changer. I'm obviously biased.
Of course, the big question on everybody's mind, they're like, well, this thing's got all these features, and it's got this high power magnification, it's got the good quality glass in it. How much am I going to pay for this thing?
That's a good question. Maybe the most exciting part about this optic is the MSRP. So again, all these features, a full Japanese made scope. This one's going to be under $1,500.
Wow!
So it's going to be in the $1,499 range, MSRP, mind you.
Right.
So if you go to your local dealer, you're going to be able to get it for even less than that. Look for that, look for those deals as they're working to get these scopes sold, because they're going to be. I don't know. I'm excited. I can't say enough about it. And I would dare listeners to go to look at the features that it has, where it's made, where it's constructed, and try to find a scope equal to it, and then look at the price tag, and you're going to be shocked.
Yeah, it's just no other brand's going to be able to touch this. You go to some of the other, and not everybody's making this either. So
no, sir.
To find another company that's even got one of these that's comparable, geez, you're over 2,000 easily. I mean,
easily,
probably on the cheapest, and they'll go on up to 5,000. So yeah, that's amazing.
And I think I mentioned it, but it's also an illuminated reticle, so it really has every feature that you would want. It has the big main tube, it has the awesome turrets, the zero stops, the cool reticle, the high power, 15-yard to infinity parallax. It's illuminated. I mean,
and this is going to come with a sunshade too, right? Yes,
sir. It'll come with a sunshade and a cloth, to wipe your optic with. Also,
very cool. Very cool.
I'm excited.
And then you guys, and I know it's not out yet, but we're going to talk about it because I've talked about it before, but you guys are coming out with your own 34 millimeter mount for this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that should be coming soon as well.
Yeah, and that'll be great. The 1 to 8s are 34 millimeter, and the 5 to 25 is, and now this 4 to 32. So we decided it was time that we had some Riton 34 millimeter mounts. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have some quick disconnect 34 millimeter mounts, but we kind of streamlined it a little bit. So you'll be happy when it comes out. You'll be the first to know probably.
And it's going to be a one piece. It's not the separate rings. It'll be a one piece, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. So yeah, looking forward to that. I know the lead heads are as well, and our talking lead, the lead head discount code is still active, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Still active. You guys can take advantage of the lead head discount code through Riton as well. Now, if you buy it at your local gun store, obviously our codes don't work there. It's just if you buy direct from Riton, and they have one of the best military law enforcement discounts there is out there too. So our military law enforcement guys, the 1 to 8, the 4 by 32 that's getting ready to come out, any of their other scopes, it's good for all those. The red dots, the code works on all that. So make sure that if you go to their site, use the lead head discount code. It's a lead head, just all one word, lead head.
Well, and I'll say too, it's important that we know, that people are hearing the show and whatnot. So I would encourage any of our military and law enforcement, when if they're lead heads and they have the opportunity to use that military discount, which is significant, there'll be a place in the notes. Let us know that you heard it here on Talking Lead, and that Marty was the one that pushed you that way, so that we can.
Yeah, definitely. Our lead heads are good about getting in touch with our sponsors, letting them know that they are lead heads. Social media, reach out to them. It's Riton, Riton, and it's just at Riton on. Is it Riton Optics? Riton Optics on Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Just Riton Optics.
Yeah, and that's Riton. A lot of people pronounce that written, but it's pronounced Riton.
Do we remember why?
Because we're right on target, right on price, and right on customer service.
Yes, sir.
Did I get all those right?
You absolutely did.
What did I win?
That's how the name. There'll be a 4 to 32 at your door probably tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. Ooh, boom, boom. Very cool. Very cool. So we've been talking a while now, and I think people are kind of getting the idea. As far as choosing the optic, which optics they need for which use. Now, one thing, and I don't want to overlook, this demographic. There are, muzzleloader shooters out there as well.
Yes, sir. And there's a lot of, I see some debate on that off and on. Bottom line is all the scopes can take the jar that's different from a muzzleloader. So any of the scopes that work within your preferences are going to be a good fit. That 3 to 9 would work great.
Yeah.
You're not shooting, too awfully far. I mean, right. You can, but odds are you're not shooting real far. And you want those cap turrets. You want it to be easy to use, adjustable parallax,
hold zero,
and just take a beating. You know what I mean? And any of them can do it, but that for the range. I think that's a great one. And if we can leave with anything, I think we're going to ask ourselves questions. What's our intended use? What's the maximum distance our firearm can can travel, what's the maximum distance we're going to actually be doing whatever we're doing.
What am I going to use it for? Why am I using it?
What kind of reticle do I like?
But these are all questions that you guys can get in touch with Riton. You go to their website, you can go to their social media page. If you're just going through and you're looking at all the different options that they have and you're just like overwhelmed, you're like, I don't know which one to get, just shoot them a message.
Yep.
And they'll help you out, or give them a call.
Absolutely. And you could hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. You can hit up Riton directly. We'll answer those questions. We're happy to help. Anyway, we really are right on with customer service. So, and one more thing that we've done to hopefully help is, you see the 4 to 32 is a mod 7. So what does mod 7 mean, right?
That means it's feature rich, baby.
It does. It means it's top of the line.
Yeah. It
means no expense was spared. The mod 5 line is designed around, hunting and general shooting. We do have some scopes in the mod 7 line that you could do that with. Mm-hmm. But for reference, mod 5 is, hunting and shooting, like target shooting.
Gotcha.
The mod 3 line, and there's a lot of mistakes that happen around this, and hopefully this helps. Our mod 3 line, every scope except for the 2 to 7 is designed around the AR-15 platform and projectile. So a lot of people buy the 1 to 4 because it's a cool reticle, it's a cool scope, the price is right, and they put it on a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor, and they call and they ask what the reticle is for. That reticle is designed specifically because of the popularity of the AR-15. Mm-hmm. We have designed a number of reticles and scopes that are specific for that caliber, and that means it works for the 223 too. If you put it on if you put it on your bolt gun 223, you're gonna get the same kind of results.
Sure.
But it's made specifically for that projectile. So
okay, and that's your mod 3 line.
That's the mod 3 line. And then we have a mod 1 line, which is just our entry level line. If you've only got, a couple $100 to spend on a scope, but you still want the best that money can buy, that's that mod 1 line. And in that line right now, we have a 3 to 9 by
3
32.
To 9. Yeah. The all general purpose kind of scope we're talking about.
And then we have a fixed 4 power scope. So the magnification doesn't go up or down. It just stays at 4 power all the time.
Yeah, there you go. And those are MSRP 180, 150.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So very inexpensive. That's MSRP again. You go to go to your local dealer, your local gun shop there, and probably going to get a little better deal. But if you go there and they're not carrying them, ask them to get Riton. Ask them to start carrying Riton, and they can do that. They can just call their local rep. You say, hey, Mr. Gun Store guy, I want you guys to start carrying this. I want this optic, and they'll do it.
They absolutely will do it, and we make it simple and streamlined for them, so they jump on board. There's no reason not to.
Very good, very good. All right, guys. So
a good one.
So Jeremy, thank you so much for that. I hope that cleared up some questions that you lead heads may have on which optic might be right for you. If you still got lingering questions, send me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and just say optics question in the subject. That way I'll know what it is. And obviously, I'm not the expert, so I will get Jeremiah involved and make sure you get the right answer. So Jeremiah, again, thank you so much for the class, man, the schooling. So we're looking forward to having you back on in an upcoming episode, and we're going to learn more about optics.
Yeah, and ask those lead heads to come up with topics. We've kind of run the gauntlet for basic stuff, top to bottom. Let's start answering questions and anything anyone wants to know. Let's make sure they're
send the questions in. Send them in. talkinglead@gmail.com. Just say optics 101. Topic for the show. I would love to hear from you guys. What concerns you? What questions do you have? Maybe something you're not crystal clear about. We'll be happy to get that covered on our next Optics 101 class.
Absolutely.
All right. So, so last episode, guys, we gave away our last Watches for Hero for that program. Bill made the announcement that he's got more watches, I think 11 more watches that we're going to be giving away, but we got hit with some great news between now and last episode, and we've got a couple of more companies that are jumping on board with our Watches for Heroes program, and it's going to grow. So we're going to make an announcement probably next episode on what that is and how you guys can get involved. But there's going to probably be a knife company and a illumination company, a light company involved with that. So not going to give anything away just yet. We're going to get Bill on. We're going to make that announcement. But that program is growing, and it's going to be awesome. So you guys stay tuned for that. And I know I told you I had another big announcement to make with a potential new sponsor. That is going to hopefully be next episode as well. We ran into some scheduling conflicts, so still got to hold off on that. I'm dying to tell you guys what it is, though. It's really awesome. But make sure that you support those that support the Talking Lead podcast, because without them, this would not be possible. Again, the official optics of Talking Lead is RitonUSA.com. Guys, check them out. Go to their website, go to social media pages, and use that Leadhead discount code. Let them know that you hear about them on the show. I see posts all the time on social media. People are like, oh, I really want to get that. I really want to get that. And I'll leave a message. I was like, hey, just get in touch with them and you can have it. Use the Talking Lead discount code. Don't be shy. They're very friendly there. And we didn't even talk about the warranty. For any reason, that your optic gets damaged, other than you just slamming it down on the ground, obviously. A fit of anger because you missed that buck. They will replace your optic. And it's 100% guarantee on their optic.
Yes, sir. And we don't ever try to fix anything. We just send you a brand new one.
There you go.
Yeah, and a 48-hour turnaround on those too. So
that way
turnaround in the business.
Your downtime is at the minimum.
Yep.
X steel targets.
X steel targets.
We talked about X steel targets. The best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets on the market today are X steel targets. I know Bud. I talked with Bud. He's the owner of X Steel, Jeremiah, and he is into that 22 long-range precision shooting. So we probably need to hook him up with one of these new 4-32s. I think he'd probably like that.
He'd dig it, yeah.
He'll probably come out with some targets just for that. But you guys go there. They got everything that you can think of for the competition shooter, for the everyday shooter, backyard plinker, military, law enforcement, training. They've got a target there for you. And if you don't see one that maybe is exactly what you're looking for, get in touch with Bud, and he will custom make one for you. That's another thing. We've got some news from them. They're getting into some other things that they're doing as well. So I want to wait till we can get Bud on and let him talk about all the new services that they're going to be offering to you lead heads as well. xsteeltargets.com. And then Modern Spartan Systems. Last episode, you heard us say we're going to be giving away one of their starter kits, the Spartan Accuracy Oil, Carbon Destroyer, Copper Lead Destroyer, and the Crystal Clear, which you guys can use to clean your Riton Optics. We're giving away one of those kits to a lady lead head. So I want to hear from you, lady leadheads. Send me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. Let me know you're a lady listener, and the first starter pack is going to a lady leadhead. Now, I've been told by Marcus and Justin over there that they've got more of these to give away. So you guys don't fear. Your opportunity will come to get one of these as well. And then, of course, we'll make an announcement on who won I think we'll just go ahead and do that this episode. So last episode, we were going to give away a Remington ladies hat and shooter shirt. And I said, send me an email in, and I'm going to read this email. So it says, this lady leadhead, ... And then it goes on to say, wants the Remington shooting shirt, ! So Katie H., and Katie H. is in Michigan. It says, hope all is well with you. I really enjoy listening to the podcast and drinking from my Letty. So she's got one of the evil Talking Lead Black Assault tumblers, the Letty. Better than a Yeti, the Letty. She says it works for hot drinks too. and will definitely be coming with me to the next chili tailgate at the Big House for my Irish coffee. Looking forward to the next episode. Later, Katie. So, Katie, you win. Congratulations. We're going to be sending you the shirt and the hat. So, congratulations. You can wear that to the tailgate party, too. Although you're probably going to want to wear your blue, I'm sure, being the Michigan geek that you are. So, congratulations to Katie. So, you other lady leadheads, I want you to send an email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and say, lady listener, lady leadhead, in the subject. And we're going to give away this Modern Spartan Systems starter kit. I've got more of the hats, the pink Remington lady hats. And I got a couple more of the shooting shirts, too. So we'll be giving those away. So want to hear from you ladies. Also want to hear about topics that you want us to discuss. Something that you're interested in, that you want to learn more about. Maybe there's a guest that you want us to have on the show. It would be our pleasure to try and make that happen. So shoot us an email. 1776 United, Jeremiah, is the official swag provider of Talking Lead. Go to 1776united.com, get our t-shirts, get our patches, and soon to be, we're going to come out with another logo. We've got another listener-created logo. You guys remember those 3 that were submitted a while back for when we were doing the patches and the new t-shirts, the Lead Head Brigade? We're going to be picking another one of those logos to come out on another version of our Leady, the Talking Leady. So you want to get the Leadys, you go to dip123.com/talkinglead, and you can get your awesome Evil Black Assault tumbler, the Talking Lead Leady. Get it there. Jeremiah, it keeps your drinks minutes colder than a Yeti.
I have to check it out. Better a Leady than a Yeti, I hear.
A Leady is better than a Yeti. Absolutely. And then a quick plug for the Talking Lead AK Corner. We had a former Spetsnaz sniper on. Speaking of optics, probably should have you guys on. Let's talk specific AKs for that. But you guys go back to part 4 of our Talking Lead AK Corner. Marco Vorobiv, and we gave away one of his books, and we gave away another AK-47. That's the 5th AK-47 that we gave away. We've got a total of 12 that we're going to be giving away to you leadheads. So next episode, got another one we're going to be giving away. Make sure you guys are engaging on social media. Make sure you're sharing our post. You're going to our sponsors, especially Pioneer Arms, who's sponsoring the AK Corner. Make sure you go to Pioneer Arms on their Instagram, on their Facebook page, their website. Let them know you're leadheads. Let them know you're enjoying the series. And send me your suggestions if you've got a certain topic on the AK Corner that you want us to talk about. talkinglead@gmail.com, AK Corner in the subject, and we'll see if we can't make that happen. Our next episode is going to be Jim Fuller, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to be an awesome episode. Can't wait to get that one out of the AK Corner. Now, regular Talking Lead show, we're going to be out, regular as our regular shows. We got the Talking Lead special Black Friday episode coming up in November. Something to look forward to. I'm sure Riton's going to have some awesome deals for you leadheads set up, as well as Modern Spartan Systems and X-Steel and tons and tons of other people that we have. 1776. VanQuest is usually in with that, giving good deals. Atlas Defense is usually in there, giving some good deals for you guys. Keltec. There's no telling who all is going to be involved with this year, so stay tuned for that. That'll be Black Friday. What's the end of the month? End of November?
November, yeah.
Yeah, so we got that coming up too. So lots of stuff going on, leadheads. Make sure you stay tuned. I've been doing more frequent Instagram lives, so make sure you're paying attention when you see us go live. Log on, because it's usually something pretty good that we're talking about. So, yeah, guys, make sure you go and sponsor those that sponsor this podcast. Show them the love. They're going to show you guys the love. We've got discount codes set up with just about everybody. So if you go and the code's not working, and the code is typically Leadhead, unless you hear differently on the show, use that code. It's not working, let me know, and we'll try to get it reactivated. But again, Jeremiah, J-Mack, thank you so much for taking the time. Great information here. I know the lead heads appreciate it, and keep those questions coming in, lead heads.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm excited to see what questions and how we can help people moving forward.
Very cool. That brings us to the end of another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. As always, lead heads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer, mounted with the ideal Riton Optics.
And if you don't know what that is, you get in touch with them at
ritonoptics.com.